Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is 8.3.6 for exploration, and we are going to attempt path number 2, that is weapon path with Sub-Zero X Gene, disarm, combo up, unarmed with critical hits, cold vulnerability, and no hit mercy noobs. Defenders are Spider-Man, Loki, the Champion, Invisible Woman, Spider-Gwen, and Mangog. Now this part does not require a relic, but I would highly encourage you to add relics. You will have a bigger selection of counters to choose from. The suggested champions for this path are going to be your champions with easy access to Cold Snap. So Iceman, Kate Bishop, Gladiator, Archers are to name a few. But if you relics, you can go for champions with high or guaranteed crit rates like Shang-Chi, Hitmonkey, Kitty Pryde, Mole Man. You can use them as well. Also, don't forget to bring a counter for Mangog and champion fights. I would highly advise you to boost big, not only for the boss but also for the path for a quick walkthrough. I will use 20% green boost, 15% health, and 10% damage for a full rainbow boost. The boss is going to be a Cerastes with nodes, grief, and malice. If you haven't checked out my breakdown video, here's the link. Stay tuned till the end of the video for the Cerastes takedown with Hulkling. So let's jump into the path and walk it through together. The first fight is going to be against a Spider-Man classic. I am going to use an Elsa Bloodstone. The key here is to let him to evade first so my incinerates can be converted into cold snaps. Once I have the cold snap with cold snap vulnerability and criticals, I'll be doing a lot of damage. At 15 hits though, the weapon will be disarmed from the opponent and I will do extra damage on the crits. So I'm just gonna wait for the 15 hits. You will see that the weapon is already disarmed. As soon as I use the striker, the weapon is captured by my attacker, and from there onwards just huge critical hits and I will be able to bring down Spider-Man in less than a minute. So that's the whole path. 15 hits, disarm, use a striker, arm yourself, and then you can hit the opponent. That will apply cold vulnerability and you can kill them off. Next defender is going to be a Loki. Now I brought in Scorpion here actually for the Mangog fight as a counter, but Loki is also a Mystic champion, so why not, I can use Scorpion here as well. I am just using medium light medium combos and built up to 15 hits and with a striker ready. As soon as the 15 hits are up, you will notice that the weapon is disabled. I'll wait for the SP2, medium light medium, striker to capture the weapon, and then SP2 for that big huge damage, and after that he will also throw his special again. That will give him more damage and I will be able to take him down. So make sure that you bring in the right counter for Mangog. That will also help you with Loki. Your champions do not have to be the ones with either cold snap or more crits, but they do help. But if you bring in a regular champion like Scorpion, that will also do great. Fight number 1 that you need to bring a counter for is going to be the champion. You need somebody who has a built-in slow that you can use against him because of his unstoppable. I am using a Shang-Chi here, and my rotation is just to use the medium for the slow and then 5-hit combo into a heavy attack. Now naturally I get all of those precision buffs on me, so I will crit a lot. So as soon as I have enough chi on me, I can throw a special. What I try to do is to disarm first with 15 hits on the combo meter, and then you capture the weapon with a striker and then throw my SP2, so all of those cold snaps can stack on every critical hit and I can do quite a bit of damage to the champion. Again, the key factor here being your slow. So you can bring champions like She-Hulk. She will work really well. You can use a Red Guardian. So any champion with the slow or nullify can work through this fight. But I would suggest if you have a Shang-Chi or if you have somebody like She-Hulk, they'll be amazing for this fight. Next up we have an invisible woman, and I'm gonna bring in the Kate Bishop. Now I am not the best players with Kate Bishop. I just recently ranked 3 her, and probably the way she's doing damage I'm gonna rank 4 as well. So I'm just using my 5-hit combos to take her to a corner and make sure she doesn't have a shield, at which point I can knock her down and put a crush debuff on her. Now here I'm almost 2 bars of power. Now I can throw an SP1 here. Still the tracking debuff is on invisible woman, so I don't need to worry about the miss. So here is the first special right after the striker and getting a perfect release. SP1 evade, and we're gonna go back in again, and just before we know it there will be so many of these cold snaps on invisible woman that she's just gonna die. So K Bishop is just amazing. You can use other champions as well, you just have to play around the invisibility, so take care about that. With Kate Bishop she has tracking, so I don't need to worry about it. Next up we have Spider-Gwen. She is very similar to Spider-Man. Again, I'm going to use a Elsa Bloodstone. Look out for an evade. Once the evade is performed by the defender, I'm going to use a medium to apply the cold snap. Then they will not be able to evade, and then I can throw my striker in at 15 hits and take the weapon to myself, and then all of those critical hits will do quite a bit of damage, and I can keep throwing my special. So it's a really fun fight with Elsa Bloodstone, easily killing off everybody. Other champions are also mentioned, so you can also use a Falcon. You can actually use any anti-evade champion with the relic. The relic becomes important if you don't use a champion with cold snap availability. The final fight before the boss is going to be a Mangog. I am using the Rupture pre-fight, and all I'm going to do is to build up to my SP2, and once I have 15 hits, throw in a striker to capture the weapon, and then throw my SP2 to put that petrify and do some more damage on them. One thing you need to take care about Mangog is keep an eye on the enraged charges. If they are getting up to 10, he will go unstoppable for a little while. The best way to deal with that is to have a special ready, so you can throw a special in whenever they dash in and unstoppable, and you can remove that. Otherwise you can keep pushing him to an SP2, and then you can block the SP2, so just be wary about that. And yeah, it's not an easy fight. This is fight number 2 where you need to make sure that you have to brought in a counter for him, but it's still quite doable. Cerastes phase number 1, that is going to be 100% HP to 9% HP. He will start off with 3 armors that you see on the top right, all at 300 each. Now those armors are called leg armor, spirit armor, and also shield armor. The way they are broken down is if you perform a striker, spirit armor is reduced by 100. If you knock down the opponent, the leg armor is reduced by 100, and if you hit in a block, then the shield armor is reduced down by 100. So the goal of the fight is to reduce all the armors down to zero, because when you remove one armor down to zero, that armor, particular one, is armor broken. So you need to have all three armors broken at the same time. Only then Cerastes will be stunned and into wounded state. So that is the challenge of the fight. If one armor is broken and it recovers after 12 seconds, it will recover back to full. So just be careful about that. And once you do that, the Cerastes will be stunned and you will be able to do some damage to him and try to push him to the next phase. If you notice now, all three armors are broken at the same time and Cerastes is stunned. Now for the duration of the stun, I have to reduce him down to 90% health to push him to the next phase. But remember, these stuns, the duration of them can be increased if you have armor break champions fighting against Cerastes. So phase number 2, it starts randomly at 250 stacks of armor each, so it's the same thing. I like to follow a rotation. The rotation is use my 5-hit combo into a striker, and right after the striker, when the passive stun is still on Cerastes, I use a heavy attack to knock down, or a special attack. And then once it do get up, he will throw an SP1. Once he does throw an SP1, you can go back in an attack, and that hit will be auto blocked, giving you a blocked hit reduction of armor by 100 units. So you can see that playing out in front of you. So again, the goal of the second stage also is to reduce Cerastes' health from 90% to 50%, and in a way where you break all the three armors in together, that will send Cerastes in like a wounded stun phase, and we are able to do a complete amount of damage to him. Now, if you haven't checked out my complete guide and a full breakdown of Cerastes, you can check it out on my channel. But I have left small tips on the right side of the screen. You can check them out. What is the goal for every single phase and how to get through with that. So make sure you reference to that. And yes, let's move on to phase 3, and I will be explaining a little more there as well. At the end of every phase, Cerastes goes into an overdrive mode. I have to intercept just like that so I can remove that overdrive mode and push him to the next phase. Now here in this phase, the armor stacks are just put out randomly. One armor might be at 90 only, one might be at 200, so you have to keep an eye on that, and you really know that and think on your feet to see which armors you need to remove first. Now I make a mistake here, and you will see that the armor just timed out and it got back to full health again. So I had to take a second to look on the top right on the armor prompts and see which one I have to break first. But then once you get into a rhythm, you can work it out. Now I am using a Hulkling, and I'm actively avoiding not to throw a heavy attack because that puts an intimidate, and that is very detrimental on this fight. So Hulkling is my second cosmic that is rank 5, so I am using that. You can bring in other champions as well, whichever suits better. So on the third phase, it's about bringing down Cerastes from 50% to 6% health so we can push him to the next one. Here, do not try to attempt the same armor reduction or the same armor break twice. Like if you hit and block the first time to reduce the shield armor, do not attempt to do hit and block again for the shield armor. Go for a different one, either for knockdown or go for a spirit armor. So you have to keep alternating which one you're going for, and depending on how many stacks they are available, you have to tailor it according to that, and hopefully you can push him to a wounded state with all 3 armors broken. Once the armors are broken, you can just go in and attack and do as much as damage as possible. I would say stick to SP3s if they are available and keep throwing young strikers to extend the combo. Now, as soon as you reach to 6% health, Cerastes goes into phase 4. I am Cerastes, and he is in overdrive mode. So you have to perform an intercept here to push him to the next phase. And once you do that, Cerastes just drains his power, the last 6% over for 12 seconds. You just have to stay back, make sure you don't get hit because he's going to be unstoppable as well. So you just have to keep away while he drains his HP, and once he gets to 1% HP, there is going to be an intimidate on him. That's an invitation for you to go and hit him on his block and kill him off with 99,999 damage. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.